Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm Joe, known to some as Merfolk Joe, known to some others as the guy who plays Soulherder all the time. Not quite as much Merfolk anymore, but I still do play Merfolk. But that's Wednesday night. Tonight is Monday night Soulherder. I've been having a lot of fun with this current list. It's Bant plus a tiny Black Splash. Just two cards, Siege Rhino and Hostage Taker. Since it's such a tiny splash, I don't have any basic swamp. I have been bitten by not running a basic swamp. I've drawn a Prismatic Vista when I really needed black mana to cast one of these cards that I've had in my hand. But I have a feeling that if I were to add a basic swamp, well, first of all, I'd have to cut one of my lands, and the mana base is like a machine right now in this deck. It's just, I consider it to be perfect for this list. Like having a redundant Temple Garden if I can't get an untapped Canopy Vista has just been working super well. I had one game where I kept drawing Windswept Heaths, so I couldn't fetch basic islands, and so I was a little bit backed up with only Hallowed Fountain and Breeding Pool as my blue sources, but in general, like just for the overwhelming majority of games and gameplay situations, the mana base is just perfect at this point. So again, if I were to add a basic swamp, I'd have to trim something, and I don't really. I feel like, as I was saying, I have been bitten a couple times needing black mana and like draw like a Prismatic Vista, but I just feel like adding a basic swamp would create more problems than it would solve. It's the same list as the last stream and probably the stream before it. I've been doing pretty well with it lately. I went last week 5-0 in a league, and then the two leagues I've managed to play since then, actually, I've only gone 3-2, which is a little bit disappointing. One of the leagues I started off 3-0, and then I dropped a match to Jund, I think, or Death Shadow, which was like, they had the absolute nuts, and it's just been that way. Like, I haven't lost a lot of like really close games. My losses have either just been due to mulligans or like a Death Shadow opponent having like triple Street Wraith into cycling into triple Death Shadow with like counter spells and Temur Battle Rage, and it's just, very, very rough losses, just getting sort of steamrolled or just being mulliganing. I feel like when I get a decent opening hand, the list has just felt really, really powerful. So I'm excited with it. It's fun. It seems competitive. Sideboard feels tight. One change I've been thinking about possibly making is trying to get a Planeswalker in the main. Like whenever I add Teferi, it just feels excellent. Seems like he's bad in so few matchups, right? Like he's obviously excellent against control. It's always going to be pretty good against creature decks. You can always just bounce something to gain some time. Usually he's a huge distraction and the opponent will send a big attack at Teferi. But I think the card that he would likely replace would be like one of these Oros. And I think Oro is just going to be just overall like the better main deck card. And two Oros has just felt fine, feels excellent. If you cast one and it goes to the graveyard, you just cast another one. It's still good value. You can even exile one of them from the graveyard since you often don't really need two of them. Though in certain matchups you might want to avoid doing that since like Death Shadow is, I think, like main decking Cling to Dust at this point. So you'd prefer not to exile one of them if possible, just to leave open your options, because in some matchups Oro is just going to be the best card, I think. Yeah, so I guess I'll start off by saying that, or reiterating, I guess, a point that I made last week in my little deck tech before I jumped into the gameplay, is that I've been feeling great about 60 card Soulherder as opposed to 80 card with Urian as a companion. In large part, potentially primarily because of the increased odds of drawing Path to Exile and Force of Negation. I'm just like so happy to be just maxed out on these two interactive spells. We've got so many blue cards. Force of Negation, very easy to cast for its alternative casting cost. And with Eternal Witness and in combination with Soulherder and Ephemerate, Path to Exile can just make it really, really hard for aggressive decks to get anywhere against us. So I was mentioning Death Shadow. Having 4 Path to Exiles against those decks makes it really, really hard for them to beat us. So once you go up to 80 cards, you dilute the percentages of drawing these important spells. And you can shore them up by adding additional removal and additional counter spells to sort of match the percentages, but they're just inevitably going to be less effective than these 2 spells. So everything feels really balanced right now. All the cards are just doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Hey, DV Neil, how are you doing this evening? Bird's Paradise instead of Hierarch. I do need my black mana. I'm kind of over exalted in Soulherder. It's really not something that we need. It might be something that we like. If you're playing Bant, then of course run Noble Hierarch and just get the bonus of the Exalted. But if you're gonna splash, if you feel that it's something that's justified and strong, then you probably want to be running Bird's Paradise instead of Noble Hierarch. The number of 2-drops I have in this list is a little lower than some of the like the original Soulherder lists. We're trying to run upwards of like 12 2-drops just because they are really important. We really want to have a 2-drop in our opening hand. But with birds, you can potentially turn to a 3-drop a good number, a good percentage of games. And then, with 8 in the deck, we do have many opening hands that still have a snake in them, or I should say a 2-drop. And I haven't felt like I'm missing out on my 2-drops too much. Let's see. Got the flex slot of Stonehorn. It just wins games against aggressive decks. Siege Rhino, board stalls, get Siege Rhino down and start blinking it. And they don't usually last much longer once he's on the board. Hostage Taker has been insane, like just MVP in a lot of games, and Venser is just like super flexible. So the core slots feel amazing. Even my flex slots just feel perfect right now. So I'm very happy with where the deck is, very happy with where the sideboard is. And with that, I guess I'll just go ahead and jump into the first round. I think that's a fair observation, Neil. I guess Uro does give us a bit more power. I've also got Siege Rhino in the deck, and there's a case to be made that Exalted is quite good with Siege Rhino because he has Trample, but it just comes down to providing all the colors of mana that I need. It's just going to be more important than potentially getting 1 extra point of power in on an attack. If I don't have the color, I might potentially not even be able to get Siege Rhino on the battlefield. So I do feel confident excuse me, confident enough in the deck at this point to be just steadily running leagues. Even if I have a bad league here and there, I wouldn't say I'm currently brewing at this point. Like, the deck just feels really solid. I did well in queues for a while. I've been doing okay in leagues now for a little bit. So it's just time to play it against, the actual competition that Magic Online has to offer. Proud of M. Hayashi, Merfolk champion, just way out ahead, almost doubling the next person on the trophy table. I won the die roll. Excellent start to the league, and this is a gorgeous opening hand, so we're going to keep. And obviously get a Hallowed Fountain to start things off. Just need to adjust because kind of got my microphone in my face a little bit. Deep breath, relax, let's play some good Magic. Pass the turn. All right, control. Typically not a bad matchup. I think I'll probably just main phase this Coatl. Actually, I'm gonna main phase this Coiling Oracle. That was a good draw. If we can ramp in this spot, that would be fantastic. All right, well, Ephemerate's a great card, but we really need to hit that third land. I'll probably just main phase Coatl, see how it goes. Land would be great, in which case I would not main phase it. Perfect. So I'll go ahead and play the land and then just get in for a point with Coiling Oracle. I think this is a good opportunity just to go for Uro. If the opponent remands Uro, it's not really a big deal. It just goes to the graveyard. Or particularly Monolith. I'd much prefer that they... I could also just pass turn and go for like Ice Fang plus Ephemerate on their turn, which is also quite a nice option. Let's give it a thought. I don't like running Soulherder out here into Monolith. So, yeah, I think I'll just pass the turn. I quite like going Coatl Ephemerate. It looks like the opponent's holding up, you know, Monolith, in which case I don't really want to let them use their mana. Okay, if that's okay, Teferi's fine. Now, if he's going to bounce one of my creatures, the other one will be able to kill him. So let's see. In this situation, double green versus double blue. I guess blue is important so that I can cast Soulherder. So I will get the blue. And I'll cast the Coatl, and I will cast Ephemerate on the Coiling Oracle. Chord of Calling is pretty good, except, you know, obviously not as great. Now, I'm not going to be able to catch the rebound on this Ephemerate, but it's sort of okay. That's pretty great. So, don't have double green. I'll probably just go get... okay, so ticking up to 5. Sort of makes sense. I'm going to try to play fast so that I don't fall behind. We've got 3 lands in the graveyard already, so Uro is getting closer and closer. Get Overgrown Tomb for now. Okay, so I think just going Soulherder here is pretty good. I can't cast Ephemerate, unfortunately. Could have thought that through a little. Maybe I wanted to get a white land. But Soulherder seems quite nice in this spot. I will attack Teferi down, because that guy's a little bit annoying. A little bit behind on time, but realizing it, I'm gonna start trying to play a little snappy, like right off the bat. I'd rather win because of the clock against control than lose, obviously. So let's try to get ahead on the clock. Teferi's quite annoying. Okay, just plussing seems reasonable. Just gonna go straight to combat here. Get in with my dudes. Actually, if they flash in a Snapcaster, that's pretty rough. I just lose my Soulherder. I can't path him because of Teferi on the board. Instead, I'll probably do something else. Like maybe I'll just get in with Ice Fang and Coatl and see how it goes. Again, trying to play relatively rapidly. All right, Teferi's going to get dinged here. And Ephemerate's just effectively kind of offline with Teferi on the board. Sorry, Ephemerate, yeah, offline while Teferi's on the board. So I think I'll go for Uro first here. See if I can get it on the board. Opponent looks like they're trying to counter it, which is sort of fine. Just goes to the graveyard. Returning Soulherder. All right, I kind of like that. It means that they probably don't have a board wipe in hand. I'll develop my mana with Birds of Paradise. And yeah, just pass the turn. Things going sort of okay so far. Teferi is quite a pain. If they get another land down, they get to activate Celestial Colonnade, which is sort of terrible for us, but I'm going to attack into... Oh, no, wait, they need one more land. I would attack into it anyway, trade one of my creatures, and then just path the Celestial Colonnade. So I will just go ahead and get in for that attack again. The opponent has too many cards in hand for me to sort of go for these chords on the main phase, I think, right now. All right, so in this spot, we've got 3 cards in the graveyard, obviously a 4th coming with the Misty Rainforest. So I might just jam Soulherder again, make the opponent burn one of their counter spells. I could try to lead with Night of Autumn, but they know I have the Soulherder in hand. All right, that's exactly the plan there. And they did bounce the Soulherder. Makes me think they don't have the board wipe. So I feel like I could go for this Night of Autumn here. Otherwise, I'm just not really doing anything. And let's apply some pressure. Opponent, they're on 4 cards. I feel like, we can try to start applying some pressure. You don't want to be too passive against control. Is this going to be another counter spell? All right, that's, we're getting through there. Eventually we'll get to Uro, and of course we do have these Chords of Calling in hand. Okay, opponent takes up. If they play a land and plan on blocking with Celestial Colonnade, again, I would happily trade. Oh, no land. Good and bad, I guess. Okay, this is just fine. They've only got counter spells, but I guess they have Archmage's Charm, so they could even just draw cards. Probably better for me to go for something important and make them counter it. So maybe one of these chords here would be appropriate. I could go for like a chord for 4, make them counter it. Or maybe they think like Path to Exile is fine, so I'm just gonna grab a Siege Rhino here, just like get a big body on the battlefield. But I have a feeling they're going to want to Archmage Charm this. Oh, they have a force for that. Okay, well, they are going to be able to cast this now to draw 2 cards, so there will be untapping with 4 cards. But the lower they get on resources, the more likely it is that we're going to be able to cast and resolve this this Uro in the graveyard. And we're sort of at the point where we could almost cast it twice. We do like seeing that basic island. Are they going for Jace here? They are going for Jace here, which is difficult. It's card advantage, and that's sort of the axis that we're fighting on here. So they brainstormed, see if they have a fetch land. I think they already played a basic island. So let's see. I'm going to keep going after Teferi here. Because if we can get these Ephemerates online, the game sort of changes a bit. If I go for Teferi, I can pay for Mana Leak. So let's do that. All right, beautiful. And courting for 2. Maybe I'll try to do that now, just because we need to try to pull ahead in some way. If they board wipe us, we just get to cast. We just get to cast Uro again. And if they counter... Okay, there we go. Let's get an Ice Fang. I'm going to dodge those Snapcaster Mages. All right, well, that's sort of temporary answer to something like Teferi, and I can then protect the Deputy with Ephemerates. Staying pretty close on time. Opponent going to put something back on top with Mystic Sanctuary, which is really annoying, because now they get to put it in hand with Jace. But I've got kind of a nice board here. So they're doing the brainstorm thing. Opponent's getting too high on cards here. So we know they have the Cryptic in hand, which is terrible for us because they could tap the team down. So of course I'm going to go to combat before trying to cast anything. So I don't want them to counter and tap. All right, straight to combat. Okay. So this is going to be tap and draw. Makes sense. Fair enough. Start things off with the Coiling Oracle here. We're going to say no here. No real reason to do that. And then, as I mentioned, now this is actually quite awkward. If I play the Deputy, I have no white mana to protect it because I have white and blue here. So I might just have to, I'm sort of priced into waiting a turn to cast Deputy. I'm sort of fine here casting like one of these Ephemerates on, for example, Ice Fang, right? Again, we're sort of falling into a hole here. If they want to burn a removal spell or a counter spell against an Ephemerate, that's not even going to rebound. Getting through that land is sort of nice. So we get blue and white. We still don't have white up, so I'm going to wait on casting Deputy and try to protect it with Ephemerate. And really, at this point, I think the most important thing that I can do... All right, well, this is obnoxious. The most important thing I can do is just try to pull ahead on time. Because that's, even if you lose a game against control, if you can finish the game even slightly ahead on time, then you do have a slight advantage going into, oh, that was kind of a nice trade. I'm kind of fine taking Siege Rhino over Deputy. Siege Rhino at least has a guaranteed effect, and it can delay a game longer by buffing my life total. All right. And I mean, since we're so far behind here, I am just going to kind of F6. I mean, Teferi is locking me down anyway. But if I can get in like a swing with Uro, we start generating value. But, you know, the opponent is on card selection. They've got 4 cards in hand. They have to be pretty bomb cards. Opponent did just bottom with Opt. They've got mana for less Celestial Colonnade activation. Obviously have mana for Cryptic Command. Like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And unfortunately, it doesn't go to the graveyard. It goes to exile. So let's try to get in for some damage. I kind of want to get this Teferi off the board, so let's go everything at Teferi. Trigger, that's beautiful. Means the opponent probably doesn't have any Path to Exiles unless they're misplaying pretty hard here. Well, land is not really what we were going for. I'm assuming they don't have a Cryptic since they didn't tap my team. I guess we'll have to see how this goes down now. Can't cast anything in attacks here because Teferi's on the board. Can't path anything, can't Ice Fang anything. I guess I could have tried to path the Vendilion Clique ahead of time, but it's probably better if they activate the Celestial Colonnade and I can get away with pathing it on my second main phase. I mean, if they have nothing to deal with my creatures, well, it looks like they do. I'm not quite sure. Snapcaster plus something else. I mean, it would be a huge win if we could get Teferi off the board. So here's Restoration Angel, sort of fine. That's another thing that we can just path. Click comes back. It's kind of bad, but we have a lot of nice cards in hand. And both of my dudes have Death Touch, so you know, whatever. I guess he could eat my Coiling Oracle, which I really don't care about. Okay, they took Siege Rhino. I got another Uro. It's just generating value, so that's pretty nice. Opponent is just about equal on time. Are we getting rid of Teferi? Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so amazing. All right, let's start by casting an Uro. Come on, let's go. Stack those triggers. Oh, wait, I have to choose which Uro to keep. Nope. And then let's see. Before they can untap, I'm just gonna go for Path to Exile on Restoration Angel, just to get rid of it, just to make things a little bit more manageable, or to try to. Spell Queller. So what can I do here? Not too much, but they do have quite a board here, and I'm really not afraid of a board wipe now because I'm the one with Uros. So I can go for Soulherder. And now we've got protection plus, let's see, if I crack this, I can't get any more blue, but I can get white. I'll just go get my basic plane so that we have Ice Fang plus Ephemerate up. All right, and we just start drawing cards. So not feeling so terrible anymore about where we are. I am spending a little bit of time on this turn. The opponent was sort of double Ephemerate. That's sick. Oh, I have the birds also making mana. So if we can just try to deal with this Jace now. Still brainstorming. Pretty rough. But remember, board wipes are just kind of good for us here. Okay. Really want to let the opponent get closer on time. Field of Ruin, totally don't care. I've got one more basic island that I can get out of the deck. They've got 3 cards in hand. Happy to trade my Ice Fang for just about anything that they've got over there. I'm going to flash in another Ice Fang here. Let them do what they want to do. Okay. Oh, man. Eternal Witness. So we just have to play fast at this point. We've got the tools. That's pretty sick. Let me go ahead and make them commit some resources here. Uro just carrying the team this game. Yeah, I'm right there with you, DV. Path to Exile is pretty sick. I'm actually going to do that right now, or try to do it right now. Remember, I have Eternal Witness that I can just use to get Path to Exile back at this point. So that's going to exile it. That's unfortunate. But the opponent is down to 2 cards, and we still have this beautiful attack happening here. Opponent almost officially below me on time here. Okay, pathing Uro. I could Ephemerate him. I think I might go for it for the value. You know what? Hang on. I'm going to let it go. We've got another one. Get my last basic. We're going to be drawing gas here. And Soulherder gets bigger. Okay, let's see what they block with. I'm sure they would like to hang on to Jace. I can Ephemerate to save one of these Ice Fangs. I do like that option. You know what? Hang on. I kind of want Click to die, so I'm going to let that go. And you know what? I'm going to Deputy this Spell Queller here. They've only got 1 card left in hand. If this gets through, then I'm in a pretty good spot. All right, and I think I'm just going to recast Uro and probably just chill. Oh wait, no, stop. I didn't want to go to the end step. Oh, that's annoying. I could just leave them with the Spell Queller and get rid of Jace. I kind of like that. I'm going to do that. All right, Soulherder, a huge threat at this point. This game turned around quite nicely as soon as we got that Teferi off the board. Wall of Omens, don't really care. We now have a Path to Exile that we can grab out of the graveyard. Opponent on 2 cards. One of the cards in their hand couldn't really do anything last turn, so Snapcaster going for Cryptic, bouncing something, in which case I can Ephemerate. Oh, they're going for Path, and I can Ephemerate, so that's pretty awesome. They may scoop in response. Do have double Ephemerate, so we get around pretty much anything here. This is why Teferi is such a menace against us. So they did not respond to that, which means they don't have like another path in hand. So I can feel free to Ephemerate. Maybe I can Ephemerate an Ice Fang and catch one of their creatures. They're probably not attacking though, right? All right. We are slightly ahead on time at this point. Let's keep trying to pull ahead. Stay on top of it all. Another Ice Fang is... Oh, should have flashed it in. A little bit delayed there. Get out of here. Stack. Oh, that's sick. Oh, come on, let's go. Deck. All right, so it's machine gun time here. Oh wait, what's happening here? They're so close, like 1 point off. What do they got here? Oh, a Snapcaster. That's fun. For what? An opt? Okay. Well, that was the last card in their hand. I guess we could cast Uro, but whatever. Yeah, I should be casting Eternal Witness to get back Ephemerate. I'm trying to stay sort of close on time, potentially ahead on time. Opponent, they went bottom. Bird's Paradise. We got 17 cards left in the deck. Yeah, no, Spell Queller that's a cool idea. I like it. Oh, you know, I should have cast Eternal Witness again to get back Path to Exile. Not playing optimally here, kind of rushing a little bit. They drew a path? What's going on here? Oh, are they going to field? What's happening? I don't even know what's going on here. Okay, they're fielding that. Totally fine. All right, all so close to being done here. I guess we are, because we're going to blink the Siege Rhino, and then we're just going to flash in an Ice Fang if they wipe our board. All right, we have managed to sort of slip behind by a half a minute, but I am staying on top of it in general. They do get a Jace, which gives them one more card draw. Fact or fiction? Interesting. So I am going to give them, yeah, I don't know, like that, I guess. So 2 Teferis or a Cryptic. So we got 2 Teferis now. Doesn't seem like it's going to save them. I haven't drawn a single force this game, I don't think. They do get to bounce the Deputy, get Jace back, but we know that they have 2 lands and another Teferi, so that just drew them one more card. It's only one card that we don't know about, I believe. Well, they're digging 3 deep here. This is a little bit rough. Okay, they conceded. All right, we got there. Let's chill out a little bit. We're almost exactly even on time, and I should be able to play much faster than the control opponent. All I have to do basically at this point is not time out, just sort of stay ahead of them. All right, let's hustle with the sideboarding. Maybe I can. All right, Disdainful Stroke hits Jace, and might even bring in Worship just because like it's kind of all about time. Pithing Needle is going to be really good. Veil, Pithing Needle, and that might be it. Gonna take out, I mean, Hostage Taker, not super necessary here. I'll take out 2 birds. I'm on the draw. I'll take out 1 land. Actually, I'll take out one of my basic 4. No, I'll take out one of my fetches. Knight is not necessary. Deputy was pretty good in that game. Stonehorn's not necessary. Hostage Taker, maybe not. They do have a lot of creatures. I think I like Hostage Taker here. Got to trim 2 cards. Maybe 1 Cord, because we don't really have any crazy super bullets against them. I guess Venser, but they do get Teferi down, and then Cord is super clunky. And then maybe we trim 1 Path, and then I'm going to take a real quick break, and I'll be right back. Okay, so play fast. Stay ahead on clock. That's the plan. So heads down. MTG always takes like 15 seconds to so opponent's mulliganing, and I think we have to mulligan just to not lose this off the bat. Going to 5. Hate it. All right, but it's not the worst hand. We will keep. We can cast these Eternal Witnesses. Probably got a bottom 1. I like keeping the 3 lands. Veil is really good. Pithing Needle. I'll put that on the bottom. So again, just playing fast. We'll get blue. Nice. Okay. Actually, that was poor. I should have played green first, but they're not going to counter anything right now anyway. Oh, that's quite nice. Maybe they tap out for their own Teferi, and then I play my Teferi, but they could force it, which would be nasty. I could also just cycle this Veil now, but I feel like, you know, we've got to aim higher, particularly on a mulligan to 5. Opponent went bottom with their opt. Ashiok is obnoxious, but not the end of the world for now. It lets me resolve Teferi, which should make this matchup much more palatable. And I'm just straight ticking it up. Don't force this, please. Please? Okay. Come on. Clawing ahead on time, like 3 seconds a turn. Okay, snap opt, sort of fine by me. Really just, opponent's tapping down. Really just want to get ahead on clock. I'd love to draw a green land. But really, I can just get down Soulherder, not the end of the world. If I don't draw any, let's see. Did draw the green land. That's quite nice. So I can play Soulherder and then potentially try to, well, let's just get Soulherder down first of all. I'll tick Teferi up and just pass the turn as quickly as possible. Equalizing on time, which is excellent. Opponents going into turn 5. I think they've made all their land drops so far. They will start to get Celestial Colonnade online. We can hold up white next turn if they hit their land drops to defend against Celestial Colonnade. Opponent's going to start by ousting. That puts it like somewhere in my deck beneath the top 1 card. I'm sure they're going to go after Teferi. They have their own Teferi. And at this point, I think I might need to Veil to cycle. Disdainful Stroke, interesting, but, you know, maybe not the most important thing right now. Teferi's ticking up. They're going to go after my Teferi. It looks like they might be missing their land drop. They are falling behind on time. So now we just want to try to drag this out a little bit. We can even path the Snapcaster if we want to just protect the Teferi. It does give them a land to get them closer to Celestial Colonnade, which I don't love. Oh, you know what? I can play an Eternal Witness and get this back, which is quite nice. And then it might be correct. I'm going to tick this up. I think it might be correct to path the Snapcaster. You guys can yell at me for it. But Teferi doesn't even die to Celestial Colonnade, and I didn't have green up for Veil of Summer anyway, so just use my spells since Teferi's on the board. Opponent is now almost a full minute behind me. Okay, opponent is milling me out. Don't really care about what's in the graveyard. Are they just going to... Okay, they're bouncing my Eternal Witness. That's interesting. Sort of unnecessary. Okay, it looks like they're going to fight over this Teferi, which I can't say I'm too unhappy about. Can replay the Eternal Witness. I think drawing another land would be pretty nice here. Maybe, yeah, I think, so now it looks like Soulherder is the way to go, since, maybe we can just cycle, but the thing is I can't really get value out of Veil while Teferi's on the board. Opponent has pulled ahead in this game for sure, but they're diverting resources towards Teferi. And we do have Eternal Witness with Ephemerate. I could always get Teferi back, make it more of an annoyance for them. Now, okay, let's see how this goes. They attack. I can potentially cast Eternal Witness, Ephemerate to make the Soulherder like a 2/2 and kill Ashiok. But they could have Path now. Let's see if they go for it. They don't. So I kind of like going Eternal Witness here. They played a land, which is annoying. Okay, we go Ephemerate. Doesn't get anything back, but I would like to kill one of their Soulherders here. I mean, their Planeswalkers here if I can. I'm just burning a card here. This is basically just buffing the Soulherder. If they have a Snapcaster to trade with, you know what? I don't really care about Ashiok. I'm gonna try to get Teferi out of here. Totally fine. Totally fine. More than a minute ahead on clock. We've got birds to potentially get a turn if they start turning the corner with Celestial Colonnade. Ashiok is down to 1 counter here. So opponent has taken about 5 minutes in this game so far, I think. They're putting an Oust on top of the deck. We haven't drawn any forces in this matchup yet. So putting down a Wall of Omens, getting up some defense, but I kind of like defense right now. We just want the game to take a long time. Disdainful Stroke and Veil are just dead, and this Ephemerate is obviously not doing anything. So we'll play that for sure. And if it gets countered, we'll just follow up with Birds of Paradise. Not a big deal. Okay, Hostage Taker is a card we don't have mana for, but we may after this Birds of Paradise here. I would do like a silly attack to burn a couple seconds, but they can activate Celestial Colonnade, so kind of silly to throw away a creature like that. Okay, they play a land. That means another Mystic Sanctuary if they want it. They tick Teferi up. Ashiok could tick down, but odds are they probably want to keep him on the battlefield. Pulling ahead by 2.5 minutes at this point. Let's see. I'm going to go for Teferi here. I'm sure they have a counter in hand. Again, not a big deal. I could have gone for Hostage Taker, though, and cast the Wall of Omens, but that's actually probably better to try to do next turn. I'd love to counter that, but we can't. But I can cast Veil to cycle it now. Gonna do it like this. 2 lands and 2 Teferis. They've got 2 cards in hand. If they take the 2 Teferis... yeah, they took 2 Teferis. Two Teferis, 2 lands. And the opponent's down to like 6.5 minutes. They're ousting my my Oracle. It's sort of fine, man. Sort of fine. I'm going to do Veil now. I'm going to bounce there. You know what? I'll tick it up so that Celestial Colonnade can't just kill my dude. And I think that's all I can do for the turn. So I'm just going to pass real quick. Remember, opponent with 2 lands and 2 Teferis in hand. 1 other card. We are more than 2 minutes ahead on clock. Maybe another Fact or Fiction. Maybe... Oh, nothing. Okay. I can dig it. Play the land. Basic land. Remember, 2 Teferis, 2 lands. Not sure if one of those was the basic island, but they definitely have 2 Teferis in hand at this point. All right. I think I'll block now since I have the opportunity. Bounce the birds. Totally fine. So Teferi still doesn't die. This is going to divert at least 1 more attack. I could just play the birds again. Not the best play, I don't think. I could cast Veil. That's a good call. I haven't played it in that order before, so it's always nice to learn things. Opponent's approaching 3 minutes behind me on the clock right now. Opponent put something to the top. I guess we'll see what that is. Remember, 2 Teferis and at least 1 more land. But at this point, they've got enough unknowns in hand that we've just kind of lost track, apart from 2 Teferis and a land. So is this another Teferi? Sweet. So 1 Teferi in hand. They ticked up, so we're gonna go Hostage Taker, take Wall of Omens here, except then I lose Teferi. I don't love it. We'll play this untapped for sure. Hostage Taker, play Wall of Omens. I kind of like it, but yeah, let's do it. Whatever. Just for kicks. I could also, they're gonna let this happen. I will, I could cast Birds to have blocks, but they could just bounce it with Teferi anyway. So let's go ahead and cast the Wall of Omens. And then, gonna attack Ashiok, just cause. It gets a Planeswalker off the battlefield. And they have another Teferi in hand anyway, right? So take Teferi up and pass the turn, maintain my 3-minute advantage. Like a Deputy off the top would be cool to get rid of this Teferi, but again, they have another Teferi in hand, so. Opponent below 5 minutes. You love to see it. Okay, going after Teferi. We do have an Eternal Witness, which we can ephemerate to get back Teferi. That's kind of fun. Remember, there is a Teferi in their hand. I'm going to start off with ephemerate on this guy. I should have attacked first. But they have the Celestial Colonnade, so let's make them do some stuff. I don't have another white to cast. I think this turn I might just play the Birds. Let's see what they do here. Spell Queller, okay. That seems okay. I can just go for Ephemerate again, but again, I can't cast Teferi this turn, so maybe I'll just play an Oracle and then potentially play the Birds. You know, they've got like a 6-turn clock at best. Another land, maybe not that amazing. Oh, but the land, oh, I kind of rushed that. Maybe could have cast Teferi here, but let me go for this while they're potentially low on cards. And we'll get back to Teferi, and we'll say okay. And yeah, we're short, we can't cast it. And I will attack just to make them block. Okay, another, oh, I forgot to fetch. Oh well. I don't think that's what this game is coming down to, whether I have this land cracked or not, but still, low on time, need to stay sharp. Opponent ticked the Teferi up. They are at 7. I can, well, let's just go to my turn, I guess. Okay. And Eternal Witness doesn't really do anything yet. Remember, I don't want to crack this fetch, if only for pride. Opponent thinking, losing time with every second. Is this restoration? What are they doing? Shark? Making sharks? Winds of Abandon. Yeah, you got it. We'll get our land. We got Teferi down, and I'll just play my creature just cause. We're gonna bounce this. Oh wait, I messed it up. Not a big deal. Again, I'm more than 3 minutes ahead at this point, and they've got to do a lot of attacking to actually win the game. All right, starts the minimum 4-turn clock here. I like the tech though of bringing in. Oh, they're spending a turn going after Teferi. Gotta love it. So now Ephemerate lets me recast Teferi. Soulherder. What do we got? Oh, another Disdainful Stroke. I'm going to attack, make them activate Celestial Colonnade. Takes time to do that. They could also just path, you know. Oh man, they forgot to activate Celestial Colonnade. That's pretty cool. No attacks. It's not how you're going to win this game, opponent. I guess they're going to mill me out. Any flying creature would be kind of cool here, I guess. That doesn't do it. Opponent below 3 minutes. Doesn't look good. Opponent doesn't look good. Are they not activating Ashiok here. Taking a lot of time, and I'm not sure what they're thinking about through that combat step. Okay, there we go. They did activate him. Flying creature, Path to Exile, works for me. Make them go search their library, or at least click a bunch of okays and no's and whatnot. Okay, 0 cards in the deck. And opponent has gotten us. Okay, but we have a 4-minute time advantage, and a control literally can't win a game in 2 minutes. So we're going to begin sideboarding. And yeah, I mean, it's just a clinic basically on managing the clock, right? Like, it's kind of embarrassing that a control player, can't win games in enough time. So in this spot, they have to win by attacking. So I think we probably bring Worship in just for the lulls, basically. Have to bring back in Misty Rainforest because we're on the play. I could probably trim Chord. I might, well, yeah, whatever. Not even a big deal. I don't even think it's possible for them to win in enough time. I'll bring back in another Path. That's probably the real call there, just to kill their creatures. I might even bring a Spore Frog in. I'll take out Hostage Taker because that's a little bit late to the game. Venser is going to slow them down. Siege Rhino probably unnecessary. Uro's going to delay their clock by just gaining life. I mean, it's part of the game, right? You got to be on top of the clock. I like the birds as flying blockers. I'm going to bring those guys in. Can probably just take out like at least one witness, an oracle. I don't care too much. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, let's just run it back. I mean, we could just literally sort of click okay, and I don't think that mechanically, like this particular control player could possibly win this game. Beautiful. Opponent's mulliganing. That's taking more time. I took out all my black cards. They're mulliganing to 5. I'm just going to open like Temple Garden into Birds of Paradise. I could, yeah, let's just do that. Turn 2 Uro seems pretty good. Playing as quick as possible. No quarter. They're down by almost 4 minutes. Probably should have played the Misty Rainforest, but they can't turn to Ashiok anyway, so I'll just play it next turn. Okay, opt is fine. I get to play my land right now. That's I guess relevant. And I think I'll probably go ahead and just play Pithing Needle, naming what, like Flooded Strand, just cuz. All right, well, at a certain point, we're going to want to stop drawing lands, but again, more than a 3-minute advantage. Opponent appears to just be passing the turn, so white, blue, green. I'm going to play my land. I'm not in that big of a rush. Wow. Should probably thin the deck at the opponent's next end step. I'm going to try to eat their Snapcaster just because they attack. Oh, I have to target it, right? But whatever. I mean, does something. And we can Veil here if they try to do some... Okay, sounds good. Okay, opponent said in clocked and conceded. So I'm not. I guess in clocked. Obviously, they're talking about their clock, but you know, in clocked. Not really sure what they're trying to say there. Oh my God! I didn't even notice. Sweet Jesus. I was just like trying to figure out like when I should cast Ephemerate and Veil of Summer. That's amazing. Look at that. Well, that was an interesting match. Oh, I'm clocked. Fair enough, yeah. I mean, interesting, but also kind of boring. Let me fill up my water. I'll be right back. All right, let me see if I can drag a few more people into the stream. All right, it's probably enough. So, I like that I'm like now on the board. It's been a while. Tomorrow is the next day when deck postings go up. So I'm going to hopefully show up in the posting, and the plan is to share the primer in its current state. I did a pretty thorough updating of it. There were a ton of references to Orion and Astrolabe, and I feel like some other things that needed to be changed. And I also just like put in a whole bunch of information about various card choices that weren't in there yet. So I think I posted to the Modern Magic subreddit once, the primer. It just generates some interest in the deck. I feel like more people need to know about it. And if I do get published tomorrow, it will certainly add a bit of legitimacy, I think. This list has been such a blast. I love Hostage Taker. I mean, you guys saw I cast a Snapcaster Mage that game and just started like pathing things with Flashback. Yeah, Paintball Demon, thanks for pointing out that the Pithing Needle actually did something. That was just like an instinct play and seemed to have paid off pretty nicely. I've been seeing so much Death Shadow lately, and a pretty even mix, although slightly skewed towards Jund Death Shadow. There has been a bit of Grixis, which is more annoying because Grixis has counterspells, and you know, when you're trying to path a Death Shadow, You don't want it to get countered. This is a keep. It's land heavy, and if we get the Ice Fang taken out of our hand, it's pretty terrible. But opponent's mulliganing to 5, so a decent start for us. Did cast Wall of Omens. Okay. So we're going to go blue, white, and then green. Actually, yeah, that's probably what we want to do. I almost hit F6 with that before playing a land there. Oh, is this Neoform? Oh, you know, I'm countering that, guys. It's a mulligan to 4. I have to counter it. I'm going for it. I've also got a path, so I can slow them down that way. We've got so many creatures in the deck. So this looks some kind of spirits deck. Siege Rhino is a creature. No lands. Ah! Oh, it's a Merfolk deck! Well, the path should hopefully come in handy, but we might just get run over. Another force, probably not going to come in that handy. They revealed a Lord, and we've got an island out. This is rough. I think we're going to get wrecked, but I can, of course, try to path a Lord when they play it, slow their roll. Man, they mull to 5. Hitting their Ether Vial should just wreck them pretty hard. Yeah, this is an easy path here. Could also just path their Silver Guild to slow them down even more, but the Lord, you know, I know what's up. It's going to give them lands, potentially open them up to cast Maraudgery or whatever. Let me crack this now. I don't even care. I guess basics are sort of decent at this point. Just to potentially get Death Touch online. So I'll go get a basic island, and we'll go white, black, green, blue. Okay, another land out of their hand is beautiful. Another Ether Vial is extra beautiful. And Soulherder with Siege Rhino against Merfolk should hopefully take us home. Merfolk on a mulligan to 5 in game 1. All right, so now in theory we get to gain a bunch of life each turn and drain the opponent and attack for a bunch. Spreading Seas doesn't matter at this point. Actually, blue mana is probably pretty welcome, I guess. Okay, another Lord, fair enough. I'm going to gain that life back next turn. I'm going to get to crack in with Siege Rhino for big old beats. Opponent did not play a land drop that turn. Opponent has not said anything yet. I guess they probably don't know that I'm a Merfolk dude. I'm 1-0. I beat blue-white control. I made them time out. Merfolk doesn't play a lot of removal, so this should be a pretty nice situation for us. All right, if they got 3 cards in hand. They didn't play a land last turn. They could have like a Trickster or like a Harbinger. They have another Lord. Blocks still look good here. This could be another Lord, so I'm not even going to risk it. I can't lose my Siege Rhino. We are going to gain some life. Man, gotta stop drawing those things. They could double block, and it's pretty bad for us. So I think I just have to pass the turn. Huh. Are they going to... What? They're going to Trickster... All right. Well, I kind of like that, since I wasn't going to attack anyway, and that's a little bit pointless. But they are getting pretty aggro with me, and this is definitely the way the matchup can go. I really need to draw something like a... It's a decent mulligan to 5. They've got Lords, they had Silverkill. Hopefully they have something like a Echoing Truth or something they try to cast, so I can just force it. Are they getting him just with the Island Walkers here? They might need to leave back some defense. No, they're going for it. Makes sense. Getting in for 11 here. Can't do anything about the Island Walk. If they go for like Petty Theft or Echoing Truth or Dismember, Force would be a pretty big blowout. And really need a draw here. Just I've been drawing nothing but lands. That was a draw. That was a draw and a half. But I think we could still just be dead. Do they have another Trickster here? Can you take some damage, opponent? Take it. No, don't harbor. Oh, Petty Theft. That works out pretty nicely for us. Hopefully they have nothing in hand at this point. Come on. Let me get in for some beats. Let me win this game. Nothing else. Nothing else in hand. All right, we go for the blink. We say, okay, we see what the opponent does. If they do nothing, we will definitely go for the Ephemerate this instant. Not going to let them draw anything. I don't think they were dead. Maybe they were. Maybe they were. So they had a 3/3 blocker. Petty Theft resolves. It bounces the Siege Rhino. We don't have black mana. We can't play the Siege Rhino again, right? So pretty important. Also, they were at... What was their life total? I guess they were at... Were they at 4? No. They were more than that. They were at, like, they were at 7. No, they were at 10. I think they were at 10. And then we attacked them. They took 1. They went to 9. No, maybe they were at 7. Whatever. I mean, yeah, we couldn't cast Siege Rhino. And I don't have a basic swamp. So, oof. Eked that one out. Eked it out. Spore Frog. Hopefully gonna do a good job. They could leave in forces. I'm not sure how advisable that is against us. Winds of Abandon could be sick. Think Teferi is good enough. Gain us some time. Worship is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. But it's obviously susceptible to like Petty Theft, but we're gonna do what we can. I'm gonna take advantage of Pithing Needle here, I think. Veil of Summer stops Trickster, which could be relevant. It also stops Petty Theft. So potentially bringing those in. I'm gonna take out all these Forces of Negations. Hostage Taker seems pretty solid-ish. Uro, they're not really killing my creatures. Though Uro gains life. I could trim 1 Uro. Night blows up an Ether Vial, which is solid. Deputy slows them down. Paths are just the best card in the deck. Being on the draw, I could trim a land. I think I will. I think I'll trim a Misty. Venser is slow, but it's nice, I think. Maybe I trim 1 Witness, planning on Relic coming in. I already trimmed an Uro. And beyond that, I guess maybe I could trim one of my 2-drops. Or maybe just 1 Teferi, since I don't think it's really nuts in this matchup. Or maybe, no, 1 Pithing Needle. I only want 1 Pithing Needle anyway. Yeah, so that's a pretty solid match. If I happen to draw the Pithing Needle on turn 1 and just slam it, name Ether Vial, hopefully just run away with the game. Can also name Mutavault. We didn't see any Mutavaults, but something that we can name. If this was a forest, I might keep it. Opponent's keeping 7 here. We've got the Path. It's rough, and we have the Stonehorn, but I do have to mulligan here. Okay, much more solid here. Double Path is sick. Double Path is just really nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep this. And unfortunately, I think we probably have to bottom the Ephemerate here. No turn 1 Vial. No turn 1 Vial. Love it. Gives me an opportunity to sort of get established. All right, let's play that Vista. Actually, you know, yeah, I guess playing the Vista is totally correct here. All right, 2-drop incoming. Okay, Mistbinder, pretty solid. Land is just exactly what we want. So developing the board's probably the correct call here. We don't really care if we take like 3 damage next turn. We will be able to play another Ice Fang next turn and do like the second path, so it's another Mistbinder. Looks like they might be backed up on lands a little bit, in which case pathing isn't the best. But it is removal. It does give us time to stabilize, time to draw cards, time to do our thing. We're ahead of Merfolk on the clock. Pretty proud of that. No blocks. We would like to draw some basics at some point to turn on Death Touch. Mutavault, interesting. So they're not really necessarily short on lands. So I'm going to start with the Oracle, see what I hit. Actually, you know what? Even getting out an Ice Fang, drawing a basic would turn on Death Touch. So that's pretty good. And then we can play out like a basic if we draw it. So yeah, I'm going to run out the Coatl on the main phase. Maybe like Vista would be the best, so I could potentially... Ooh, speaking of the best. So yeah, unfortunately no basic yet. But I will play this Temple Garden untapped. Now, I'm going to go to their turn. Let them untap, potentially draw a counterspell. But if they have Force, they could cast it on our turn, so... better to put it on their turn. Okay, Lord of Atlantis. Not activating Mutavault as things look, so they're going to attack. I do have an island on the battlefield. Get rid of this Lord. I could even just cast like Wind's End Path on my turn. Get rid of 2 of their creatures. Cord, I think I'm going to just... play a land and maybe leave up Cord next turn. I could get like Deputy and take away both of these things. Could do that on their upkeep, maybe. So Birds of Paradise, mana neutral when you're going for Court of Calling. Now, I don't know if they kept forces in. But I probably, let's see, I probably want to go to their upkeep on this one, I think. You know what? If I tap all my creatures and they have a counterspell, then I just lose. So maybe it's better. I think it might just be like straight up better just to path and just like cast like a non-greedy Winds of Abandon. Yeah, let's, and then next turn we can get like Stonehorn. But we want to do this during upkeep, I guess. Oh, well, let me do Winds of Abandon first. If opponent forces... Okay, they let that resolve. So we are going to go to their upkeep now. I could attack, but I don't really want to. That's not really the name of the game right now. Okay, so board temporarily dealt with. Let's see what they're dealing with here. Tidebinder Mage. It's kind of yucky. Tapping down the Birds of Paradise. Another oh, so they're making my cord harder. You can only cord for 2 now. Oh, Hostage Taker, but I can't cast it because they Tidebinded. So it seems like the best line is probably going to involve starting with a Coiling Oracle. Man, that was clutch, tapping down the Birds of Paradise. Well, that gives me black mana, but I can't really do anything yet with it. We can go like block, get a basic, turn on Death Touch, get another Ice Fang, take some damage. We might just be dead. I mean, we could also just see how they attack, and then try to cord or cast Hostage Taker next turn. Let's see what they've got here. Mutavault. Now, like a petty theft on like the Ice Fang would be okay. I'm going to block, I think, with definitely the Ice Fang, and then potentially with another, because I can still flash in another one and have enough to cord for like Stonehorn. So we're going to say okay here. And then I'm going to go get green. Basic green. Turn on that Death Touch. See how they respond. So let's see. Trickster gonna be sort of okay here, I think. Not a lot that I can do about it. Okay. So unfortunately not killing Mutavault, but we will have the resources to get, unless they somehow counter this right now. Like Deprive would be pretty sick. We're gonna get, oh, you know what? I cast my cord, so next turn we probably just have to take a Merfolk Trickster and see if we can survive. We got double Death Touch, Ice Fangs. See if we can dodge a Lord. So, okay, Witness. Witness is interesting, but I don't think it gives us the resources to do exactly what we want to do. But it does get Path back, which is kind of cool. Hanging from a thread. Hanging from a thread. Okay, that's pretty sick. So, I think I'm going to Path, and then Eternal Witness, get back a Path, pass to their turn, hold up. Oh, this guy's, yeah. So I'm going to Path the one holding the birds, I think. Opponent fails to find a basic land. Get back another Path. We might have to do a little bit of chump blocking, but I don't know. I'm just kind of playing as quickly as I can here. I don't have any Ephemerates. So I don't know if I want to let them... I think I have to hold up the Path in case they draw a Lord. Everything is super tenuous here. If they're able to bounce like an Ice Fang, we lose Death Touch. We also lose blocks, obviously. But Merfolk kept 7. They were on the play. We kept, I think, 7. And I don't know. I forget what happened. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's got to be good. That's got to be real good. Of course, they could just drop a Lord, which would be really rough for us. But Venser, good card, good card. But we can go like take Trickster now and hold up Trickster. So, sort of stabilizing. We could also take Ether Vial, but I think Trickster's probably better, trying to swing things a little bit. And we're sort of at a point where I'm not super afraid to get in with, you know what, I'm not going to risk anything. I'm going to leave back the Quaddles. That's not going to, like, getting in for 1 point of damage isn't going to win me the game. Bouncing that thing. I could cast the Trickster right now. That's decent. Well, I'm not dead to Brazen Borrower. They can cast that. I do have flyers. This has been a pretty interesting game. I get to take their Brazen Borrower, I guess, if I feel like it. If they just, yeah, I couldn't do everything. If they have a Lord, it's just GG. So we did our best. Bouncing Hostage Taker was kind of not really the line. But Turns out it didn't really matter. We gave them Island Walk. There's nothing, you know, we can't really play around Island Walk. So we'll be on the play in game 3. I didn't see any Graveyard Hate, and Eternal Witness is really solid, so I do want to bring back in the land. I think the single Pithing Needle is still fine. I still think the Veil of Summer is still fine. We can always just cycle it. Like a turn 2 Teferi could be pretty good. Bounce an Ether Vial. So leave both Teferis in. You know, maybe Venser's not that great against Ether Vial, but bouncing a Lord just seems like it could like wreck them. I think I'm gonna trim the Venser though. Just seems kind of slow in this matchup. I'm pretty sure you should be able to cast... Oh, no. I'm pretty sure if you cast Petty Theft, then... No. You can cast. You for sure can cast both sides. It cares about who cast it. It goes into the adventure zone of whoever cast Petty Theft. That ruling came up with Paintball Demon. We're keeping this. Snap keep. If we can get off Winds of Abandon, like, we're going to win the game. Wow, it's pouring here now. Spore Frog is kind of cool. It's going to get me closer to Winds of Abandoned mana. I don't even want to risk them having like a mystic mystical dispute. Oh man. Now we just need some lands. I'm almost like hyped to just path my own Icefang Coatl. But that's probably unwise. I do have paths that can, and I'm only like one Icefang or basic away from having Death Touch. And we get to get Spore Frog down next turn. That's just a fog. Siege Rhino is pretty awesome. So I think we're just going to go Path plus Spore Frog here. So I can play the Breeding Pool tapped, I guess. No, that's not true. That's not true. I can go like green. I'll just play this right now. I'm probably just gonna snap this off on like their next attack. I'm gonna upkeep this Mistbinder. And I don't know that I need to snap Spore Frog off just yet if I'm going to sort of neuter their attack a little bit. And since I'm not going to block with the Ice Fang, I guess I'll get in with it. So at this point, like an Eternal Witness would be sweet, so I can get like extra Spore Frogs. But I really just want to draw lands. I want to get to double white for Winds of Abandon. Yeah, this guy's sort of okay. I'm down to take 3 more damage. So land off the top, beautiful. Even particularly like a, well, that works. It does. Because Siege Rhino is a nice speed bump for them. This is unnecessary, so I'll just play that tapped, save a little bit of life. We're going to path or attempt to path their Lord on their upkeep. Okay, so no counter spells so far. Okay, another Lord, potentially getting in for 3 again. If they just tap out for like another creature, that would be pretty cool, because then land off the top for Winds of Abandon potentially would set them back a lot. But I think I'm just going to go for Siege Rhino on my turn. And Ephemerate, quite nice, except unfortunately, this is my only white and black, so I can't leave up Ephemerate. But that's not the end of the world. I'm going to attack with Ice Fang first, I think. And this is... I could Ephemerate now if I want to, just to blink it. Might be good value. But then I can't cast Siege Rhino, which doesn't seem amazing. But I get to draw a card off of the Ice Fang, and I do have the Spore Frog just to. I like blinking. Let's just let the Trickster resolve. I like blinking the Ice Fang because I want another land so that I can cast Winds of Abandon. More than I like casting the Siege Rhino, I think. I don't want to let somebody just like eat my I'll tap the, you know what, I haven't played a land yet, I don't think, so I'll tap white here, and if I draw another white, I guess I should in theory be able to play it. Maybe they have a Dismember. No Dismember. Well, a bird opens things up a little bit. And it does turn on wind, so hopefully they just dump their hand next turn, and we stabilize. So no Tidebinders on my birds, please. Okay, I like to see it. Let's go. And in fact, maybe I just take a hit if it's not lethal. Yeah, I can't really see any reason to crack the Spore Frog. It looks like they might be leaving up, like Petty Theft plus the Flyer. Oh, that's just amazing. Print screen. Share that with my Merfolk brethren. You know what? I'm gonna get in for the saucy attack because that's how I roll. And at this point, I guess I'm sort of okay sacrificing Spore Frog. Well, you know what? Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna play Siege Rhino next turn anyway. I think we can keep fading this. Although I want to crack this Vista to thin the deck. So maybe I crack the Spore Frog, save a little bit of damage, don't get got by like Vapor Snag. Yeah, I'll sacrifice that, I guess. I don't know. Now an Eternal Witness would hopefully, I mean, it would just be incredible here. So I'll get another white source. Well, I'm going to start with this guy, and then we can cast the Siege Rhino. Let's hopefully, like, draw, I don't know, something good. Ice Fang is okay, but we need to gain a little bit of life here, I think. Now, hang on a sec. Did I play my land yet? I did not. So this can get green. I want to leave blue up, so let's go, like, black, green, white. Guess I do need to crack this thing. Man, a Lord is just gonna kill me. So maybe I start with Ice Fang, and if I draw like a if I draw an Eternal Witness, I can just play Path and be a little safer, I guess. I don't know. Soulherder is interesting. We just have to like whiff a turn. You know, if I lose to Merfolk, like that's a pretty proud loss. Merfolk is a sick deck. I should have probably saved the there's no reason not to attack here. I really should have probably saved the Spore Frog. I'm not. Oh man, what's happening here? I was gonna eat this guy. Oh, I'm just dead now. Oh, I'm dead. Let's see if opponent misses their attack. I don't think there's anything I could have done differently in that turn. The only thing I could have done differently is waiting to cast Spore Frog. I mean, to crack Spore Frog. And that's potentially a big misplay. All right, well, we had some removal. Opponent had some creatures to follow up with. So I'm going to say, nice games. Thank you, exclamation point, and I will scoop it up. Well, you know, we can struggle against aggressive matchups. I think I might have slightly misstepped by sacrificing the Spore Frog too early. I'm going to turn my air conditioner on. Okay. Man, getting sweaty up in here. It's, I don't know, really humid. I don't know how many more matches I'm going to play. But we'll at least play one more. I mean, I think I could have gotten there, guys. I think I just misplayed. That's a little bit rough. But I learned my lesson. I'm going to keep this. Path, quite good against creature decks. Force, quite good against non-creature decks. Eternal Witness going to keep us on our land drops. Opponent kept 7. Something like a thought seize here is a little bit rough. But if they take Eternal Witness, we still have Path. If they take Path, we still have Eternal Witness. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Okay, push is sort of okay, not the biggest deal in the world. And land is just super clutch right now. So we're gonna play this with the plan of getting blue-white, and I'll get it on their turn if I have to. I guess it's Jund, right? Which Jund Death Shadow, which is quite good for us. Tarmogoyf is like, you know, it's a good creature, but I'm gonna path it, and then I'm going to get the path back from the graveyard. So they tend to run fairly few threats, so let's see what they've got. We've gotten this far, managing to hold on to both Path and Eternal Witness, which is 6. So here I can go get another forest, and the next turn, like Canopy Vista. So basic forest. Start establishing a board, sort of a board state. We definitely want this Path. Since this is most likely Jund, and it could potentially just be black-green. At this point, we haven't seen any red mana. Okay, so it's Jund, makes sense. So they can't counter our removal, which is like primo. All we want to do at this point, well, that's a little bit annoying, but we still do have an Eternal Witness that we could potentially blink to get back the path. We also have Chord. Keep in mind, we play a land next turn. We can Chord for 2. If we get like a basic Plains, we'll have Death Touch. Oh, they took the Chord. How interesting. Maybe they have more hand disruption, which would make sense. Chording for Uro in this spot might just be like nearly unbeatable. Okay, so they must have like another hand disruption spell or something. Oh, they're going to get a second Death Shadow. Okay, so at this point, Yeah, this is looking like a pretty strong hand out of Death Shadow. Like anytime they can slam 3 threats in the first 3 turns, with disruption, like hand disruption. Oh, another Eternal Witness is pretty clutch. So I'm kind of priced into getting basic white here. Preserve my life total. I'm going to cast Path right now and then get Path back again. And if I need to chump block or something, I'll just do it. Oh, Canopy Vista. That's nice. This is why we play Canopy Vista. Just like helps with our mana a lot. Okay, Canopy Vista. We get a. Hang on a second. Let's get the sequencing correct. Death Shadow 1. Dealt with. Now, the way that my Death Shadow matchups have been going, the opponent's going to have like another Street Wraith plus a Thoughtseize plus Temur Battle Rage on their next turn. Plus a Shockland. Like, I've just been getting like absolutely nut-drawed by Death Shadow. I did win my last match against Death Shadow, but it was a pretty close thing. Opponent even has a redraw here if they want it. Thing is, I don't think that blocking here, we have to do a little bit of math, but blocking might not be relevant. Currently, they can make it go to 6. Temur Battle Rage is 12. If they have a third Street Wraith, it could potentially be lethal. But since Chord is a thing in our deck, I can't see like blocking being a good choice here. Ugh, like how do they keep doing this? Ridiculous. Like so many threats. And they ping themselves. Oh, they got a Verdant Catacombs. How interesting. So they get to make this thing gigantic and then kill me with Battle Rage? So again, blocks don't matter because if they have the Battle Rage, it's just GG. So they had 3 Death Shadows, a Tarmogoyf, Battle Rage, and I don't know, Fatal Push, Inquisition. It's okay. They can't get the nuts like 2 games in a row. So we'll take our beats. We'll see what our next card was going to be. Ephemerate, pretty nice. I could Path, Ephemerate, try to so annoying. Okay, but we do have a lot of great cards. I'm not really sure how great Aethergust is. You guys can let me know your thoughts on Aethergust. I'm going to try Venser, even though it's a little bit clunky. We are on the play. These guys are all staying in for sure. We can trim a couple of birds because they have a lot of removal. And we don't want our mana to be leaning on birds. Uro is amazing. Knight is unnecessary. I like Deputy, and I'll trim one more card. Maybe I'll trim... I love all these cards. So maybe I just trim one Soulherder because it's weak to removal. And then I'm going to run to the bathroom. Be right back. All right. So, I mean, if we look at what they had that game, they had the means to get their life total really low, really fast. They had hand disruption, they had removal, they had 4 threats, Teamer Battle Rage. I don't know. Hard to beat, basically. Hard to beat. I feel like this setup is pretty tight. I'll just go ahead and submit the deck. Like turn 1 Veil is like our best opening against Death Shadow, but honestly, like we have quite a good matchup against them, so I feel like overall I'm very much positive. Definitely at least in like 60-40 territory. This is very keepable. I really want a 3rd land. And opponent keeps 7, which is frustrating since they had the utter nuts. I'm going to get blue, white, and then green. Opponent looking at their top deck. Ugh. Okie dokie. I mean, we've got just a crazy good hand. As long as we draw 1 land at some point. We'll have to see what the opponent's working with, but you know how it goes against Death Shadow. I guess they have a lot of good cards, right? It's what their deck does. I could hold off on cracking this. I kind of want to do it now, though. All right, so maybe now I'll hold off on this one, I guess. Another Street Wraith. Awesome. Opponent deep in the tank. Like, I'm sure the lines right now are super complicated. Should I Thoughtseize? Should I Inquisition? Should I... Okay. They figured it out. This is why Uro is so crazy strong in this matchup, because they just do this, and then we play Uro, and now it's like a 6-6. Drake. I'm 1-1. I lost to Merfolk when I should have had the game. I had a Spore Frog. I think I cracked it a touch prematurely. I should only really crack it on like a lethal attack. I was slightly afraid of the opponent like bouncing it with a Petty Theft. I cracked a little early, and then I just got. I could have stabilized with like a Siege Rhino and Soulherder. All right, so opponent gets to get their threat now. So far, a pretty nutty hand. Double hand disruption, plus a threat, plus double Street Wraith. Well, things are getting pretty dirty now for us. We have had 3 draws and no 3rd land yet. Now they can untap, hold up, Cling to Dust. If I do play Eternal Witness, it's just things not going our way. Opponent didn't seem to recognize me, so I'm assuming it was a rando. I'll check the name. I'll check the name after this. Is this like a Liliana? Get out of here, opponent. Okay. Well, now we have to crack our land. Glad I remembered that. I've definitely punted that before. I guess Canopy Vista is reasonable here. Give me a land and not a fetch, please. Oh, God, and they just got rid of my graveyard. This is so terrible right now. Okay, at least we have double paths so we can, like, suffer forever. Like, the game might take 10 more turns, but doesn't look good. Thoughtseize, Death Shadow. Or just like 3 Death Shadows. Ugh. This game is not going well. You know, I'd love to be able to space out my paths so we can hit lands and potentially get, like, in one turn, play an Eternal Witness and get back a path, but I definitely just have to rip both of these right now. Yeah, it couldn't be another land in their hand. Just has to be another Death Shadow. So, hitting their land drops. First 4 land drops, what do they run? Like 18 or 19 lands? Hitting all the first 4 land drops. 3 threats, double hand disruption, Ashiok. Man, I I love bitching about Death Shadow. It can be a super duper ridiculously annoying deck. So okay, now I can get a green source that's not a fetch, a basic green, breeding pool. Oh. So hang on a second. Opponent has milled me with Ashiok. That was at least 4 or 5 draws without hitting a land. I should probably just... They have a Death Shadow in hand? Sweet Jesus. Guys, you see what's happening, right? This is... My hand was absolutely beautiful. Like, really... And now they get to exile all of my removal spells with Ashiok. I'll scoop it up in just a minute, Drake. Don't worry about it. I can still take some beats if I go like running like basic, and I can play well, that was unnecessary. I can go like Eternal Witness, take 2 hits, and then start ephemerating to Ghost Block. They are pretty low on cards. Unfortunately, Ghost Blocking with Eternal Witness doesn't really get a lot of value. So they've got my graveyard in check. That is for sure. If they play another threat, it's just absurd. Even if... Oh my... What are they playing? Is this like Liliana, the last hope? Is it another Ashiok? What could it be? Oh, God. Ah. Not scooping now, out of principle. So, did you guys know that if you F6 and have no creatures, it still stops you on your block step? Technically not dead? All right. You know, all this removal is awesome if I had like 1 more land. I mean, I don't see why I shouldn't let the opponent have fun, right? 5 mana? What are they doing with 5 mana? What do you guys think? Oh, hardcast Street Wraith for the lulls. Okay. Mishra's Bauble. Targeting me. Why not? Yeah. We're still dead no matter what, basically. They've got lethal around our blocks. Even if, yeah. Alright, whatever. At least that was a fast match. The sad thing, though, is that it's a very favorable matchup for us, and I think I beat this guy in the last league, and I think I beat him pretty hard. 7 trophies. All right. Nice. Congratulations. That's awesome. 4-1. I'm hoping that the list that I'm playing right now gets published because I got a 5-0 on Friday. This hand is so awkward. If it's like prowess, then it's amazing. If it's control, it's pretty awkward. It's got lands and spells. If it's Tron, we just get rolled entirely. Usually we mulligan if we don't have like 2-drops or like good 3-drop creatures to play, like Uro or Eternal Witness. But if we draw like a Snake or an Ewit like in the next couple turns, this hand is pretty gas. I think I can keep it, whatever. This is one of the things our deck does, you know? No, that's a reasonable opening if we've got double path. Thanks, Drake. And no plays with basic island. Love to see it. Love to see life gain. All right, so now the sequencing is like, again, like we might just want to get black at some point with one of these things, but I'll get green-white to start. We might have to shock ourselves. Maybe the opponent is going to play like a Kiln Fiend or that thing that makes mana. Yeah, called it. So on the off chance that I draw a Snake, I'm just going to use my mana. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll just do it right now. Use my mana as efficiently as possible. Could also just get a basic Plains that works really well with this hand. But basic Plains is pretty bad. In a general sense, it's really bad. But in this matchup with green, blue, and white in hand with all castable spells, but then again, like getting multiple white could be good. So like blue, white, green, white. Death Touch is not even like necessary right now. Probably should have gotten. Oh no, never mind. Canopy Vista would have come and tapped. I was just thinking through my other options. Alrighty. More where that came from. Uro, another good draw. So now I can't imagine wanting to cast more than one thing. So I will just play the Misty and get another shock land. Tapped. Actually, now maybe, yeah, shock land. I'm going to get like blue-white. Or maybe just green-white, so I have double green past the turn. And then we start gaining life next turn. And yeah, I mean, if we draw an Eternal Witness at any point, it's just going to be awesome. Okay, Lava Spike. Hopefully no main deck Skullcrack. That would be disgusting. All right, bring it, opponent. Oh man, are they leaving up Skullcrack? Because of the possibility of Skullcrack, I feel like I'm going to play Knight of Autumn just to have something on the board that I could potentially at least blink. Also, it just gains more life up front. Cast it now. Come on, opponent. So I do think that double green is more important than double blue. And multiple white is always nice. So, all right. So maybe they're just holding up like Searing Blaze, which would be pretty good for them here. But gaining life is pretty cool too, so let's see what they've got. Slow start for me, but we did have the removal. All right, sweet. So now I don't really care what they have. Just cycling their land, that's great for us. We did see a Kiln Fiend, so this is not just like traditional burn. So they probably don't have things like Searing Blaze, at least not in the main deck. Light up the stage for another Kiln Fiend, but we've got another Path to Exile. That was a good light up the stage. But we can also just play Soulherder and just blink Knight of Autumn. That seems pretty busted. And then we could just like blink it with Ephemerate at some point. So yeah, I'm going to play Soulherder, let them go real big. Actually, they're at 2 cards, so they can't go too big. Should probably attack into this Kiln Fiend. They're definitely not going to block, and I'm not going to block. I'm just going to blink my Knight of Autumn. I like that attack. Proud of that attack. It was a bold attack into the scary Kiln Fiend, but they weren't going to block. All right, opponent. Do your worst. So as I said, our hand could have been terrible against like Tron, but this is one side of the deck that does well against decks like Prowess. Opponent just like go nuts on this Kiln Fiend, like Monomorphos. Yes. I love it. Keep going. Come on. All day. More Monomorphoses. Yes. Come on. Draw Monomorphos. Okay, that's not a Monomorphos. But it is another Crash Through. Cool. Cool. What do you got now, opponent? Got attacks? Peace out. No. I don't know if I said that, but no, I meant it couldn't get too big when I'm blocking, when I'm attacking, when it's blocking. That's what I meant. I don't care how big it's going to get on their turn. I've got a Path to Exile. I want it to get like as big as possible. Now the question is, do I block with the Soulherder? And the answer is absolutely not, because if they cheese me out with some stupid spell, that would be ridiculous. I mean, they could, of course, just like bolt the Soulherder. That would be decent. Okay, they're just scooping, so... That was the half of the deck that lines up absolutely amazingly against Prowess decks. And we happen to have very nice sideboard tech against them, so... Let's see if we can get a turn 1 Burrenton. Turn 1 Burrenton, like, can get us literally, like, 5 turns, like, in a game against a deck like this. I think Teferi's actually pretty good, too. Aether Gust is ridiculous. And then I've never loved Force against them, although this is a light up the stage deck, actually, so, I mean, it's good. But is it as good as some of our other cards? Let's start by taking the Forces out. Hostage Taker, pretty nutty. I think the Soulherders are weak. Gonna take those out because they die to, like, Lava Darts. I'm also gonna trim all of my birds. Alright, well, cool. Now we're down below 60, so I can bring back in one of the Forces. This is my tech, cutting the dorks against Lava Dart decks. Like, it's just such a terrible trade. You can keep a hand that's leaning on the birds, and then it just gets, like, half for one by a Lava Dart and just get wrecked. Alright, this is looking pretty good. Just need to get like 3 lands in our opener because we don't have any ramp, we don't have any birds. We've got a bunch extra removal. We've got worship and Burrenton. For any of you guys who haven't seen me sort of break out this combo in the stream, worship again and Burrenton is just like an unbeatable combo, and like I love it so much. It's one of my favorite things in this deck because they can't get it off the battlefield, and they're surely not going to bring in enchantment removal. So. Let's go opening hand with like 3 lands, Path to Exile, Burrenton, and Worship. Or just like every piece of removal in the deck. This is sick, but I need another land, and it has no removal. Opponent kept 7, so we're going to mulligan. All right, much better. Much better. I think I can... I have to bottom the overgrown tomb here. I could also just open with tomb, go like basic island, oracle, hopefully ramp, and like potentially bottom the ephemerate. No, keep the ephemerate. Anyhow, I'm gonna keep this, and whenever I bottom lands, I just never draw them anymore. But it seems like ephemerate's solid in the matchup to try to ghost block, so I'm gonna keep here, and I'm going to bottom the overgrown tomb. Although it's something that we can play without hitting our life total on turn 1. I'll just bottom the tomb. On the draw against prowess, like with a hand like this, you definitely lose. You're just hoping that they're pretty creature light and that like your removal is going to actually get there. Land is nice, really nice. So nothing I could do this turn, so we're definitely going to get a Hallowed Fountain. But we'd like to hold up on drawing lands for a little while. Okay. Remember, we've got 4 paths in the deck. We've got another Celestial Purge. Now, like, double Bolt. Get hit for 11 this turn. Pretty nasty. Okay, well, it doesn't deal any extra damage except the prowess trigger. And they're burning a crash through when I don't even have blockers. Alright, well, we can deal with that. Play on my own terms, crack fetch lands at random times. Let them know who's in charge. Alright, down to 14. Not terrible. Land. Land is okay if we draw like if we draw worship, pretty solid. No reason. I cannot risk just running out Oracle on the hopes of ramping, I don't think. I think the play here is just to purge one of their creatures and not die. Next turn we can play the basic island, hold up like Ice Fang and Ephemerate, or even just Oracle and Ephemerate. They already burnt a crash through. Bolt to the face, fair enough. Looks like they might not have a land drop here. Let's go to blocks real quick, like I'm F6ing. Okay, like I F6'd. Just pass really quick. Come on, throw another spell at me. Come on. All right, gotta do it. Okay, another Soul Scar. Okay, that was a good draw. That was a really good draw. So now I go Oracle off of this. Potentially hit a land, or holding up path. Easy chump block. Next turn I can have Death Touch. Opponent's got 3 cards in hand. This is one of those nutty hands with multiple creatures and tons of spells, only 2 lands. So I have a feeling it's going to be... Oh, that was nice. It's a feeling it's going to be hard for us to get there. Could also try to Ghost Block here. I mean, in theory, it prevents the same amount of damage as pathing something. Lava Dart is disgusting. But it's a card that they run. So I have to let it resolve because they're just going to cast. They're just going to cast it again. I do have. I will have Death Touch naturally next turn. Cast the Lava Dart. Cast, yes. Hopefully that proves to be greedy. But they still have 2 cards left in hand, and they haven't been playing lands, so let's see how it goes. Like a Burrington would be amazing, like totally amazing. Opponent with another Lava Dart, why not? That's 2 more damage plus 2 more damage. I think I end up at 1, if I'm not miscounting. All right, well, the fetch land is offline for the time being. So yeah, I mean, really, like, we have to dodge. We have to dodge Burn to the Face. This is gonna have Death Touch, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they just try to remove the creature, and then I can flash in another Ice Fang and kill the monasteries. But if they're gonna remove the creature, they would just hit my face. Right, like, why? Oh, a Braid. That's actually quite good for us. We're gonna draw a card. Actually, hold up. They're tapped out here. I just want to Ephemerate, right? Yeah, I just want to Ephemerate, for sure. All right, guys, we're doing it. Let's get down like a Worship next turn, or like some life gain stuff. We don't. This game we don't have Uro yet, right? Ugh, these fetch lands are rough. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Gotta love it. Come on, deck, get me there. So I can't catch this. I can't unless I flash this in. This is really unfortunate. If I flash it in, I don't have mana to cast Night of Autumn. I gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. All right, very good call. So now we can get another blue land, potentially, and flash in this Coatl. We can also go get a basic Plains and path whatever monster they play. All right, I'm not going to crack. I don't think I'm going to crack these fetches. Actually, I'll crack one of them. I'm going to crack one of them. We need to get ahead a little bit here. I mean, I'm at like 4 life is just the same as 5, I think, for the most part. I'm pretty sure they've got like something that does nothing in their hand, but who knows? That's beautiful. All right, so now we can. Oh, okay. All right, so now we can respond with Ephemerate if they try to like kill us or kill one of our creatures. We also have Canopy Vista, a Painless Shock white source that can come down, a Painless dual land that can come down and get us white mana. Apart from, you know, this Misty will take us to 3. I could try to bait out like a Bolt right now with Misty and then Ephemerate in response. I actually kind of like that. I think that's kind of a spicy line. But I don't really see a reason to not cast the Oracle first. Yeah, I'm going to go for... Yeah, let me crack this. Well, the thing is, then that puts me in a weird spot, because if they don't do the Bolt... yeah, let's Oracle first. Another Oracle. Again, like, no reason not to play it. Pretty good. Maybe it just gives me white, I guess. Hopefully not. We can't... Oh, Court of Calling. That can go get Burrington, and we're feeling pretty good in this spot now. I feel like I can very comfortably crack this if they let it go. You know what? Why don't I just respond to what they do? Why don't I just respond? Let them do their thing. They're only on 2 lands. Well, that seems to have worked out well. All right, and we can still chord. They didn't have a response to that. So now I think I'm just going to chord for Burrington, like right now. No more, no tricks or anything. Do what you want to do, opponent. Actually, it'd be pretty good if they remove one of my creatures in response to that, but they should have just done it already, right? Canopy Vista, gotta love it. Somebody was asking me, you know, like yesterday, a new player to the deck, why do you run Canopy Vista? And maybe I'll try to remind him to look at this stream, because this was an excellent example of why Canopy Vista is very useful. Well, that's obnoxious because it gives them cards, but we're in a pretty good spot now, and Burrington is sort of excellent. Gain life or draw cards? Gain life or draw cards? I think maybe going for Oracle here is probably the way. I think we want to dig a little bit here. We've got like a counterspell on the board already. You guys have any opinions on this? Yeah, I want to draw some cards. Like an Eternal Witness would just be kind of nutty here. Opponent did not respond, so like no Lava Dart or anything. And we've got the path, so we're sort of chilling for the moment. We just don't want to get like triple bolted to the face. Wait, I'm sorry. Oh, we hit a land and then drew a land? That's pretty terrible. Can't see a reason not to attack with the Coatl, because I'm just gonna path the Bedlam Reveler right away. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. So opponent just untapped. They didn't use their mana. Another Bedlam Reveler. Sort of okay. We can't really do anything about it. They do have to discard their hand, which looks like they're not casting anything. All right, well, you know, that's about the most we could have hoped for, I think. So I'm going to block with Burrington. No need to burn the path yet. And really, since I'm just trying to protect my life total, no reason to crack the Windswept Heaths yet either. Although, you know what? I kind of want to go get black mana and not shock myself in case I draw like a Siege Rhino or... I do have the Burrington in hand, so it's not just... This also thins the deck, gets black mana established. We do want it at some point, so let's see how it goes. That's not the best. It's actually pretty good when they cast Bedlam Reveler. But it's a creature that I can cast. I mean, like, Winds of Abandon would be amazing. His opponent going to... Okay, still not cracking their eyelets or doing anything. Let's see. Just hard casting light up the stage. I can dig it. I could also Venser this right now. But I kind of like Venturing one of their Bedlam Revelers if they attack. Seems like their hand is pretty bad, right? Yeah, that's true. That's true, but do I want to let this light up the stage resolve? I guess we let it go. I mean, like we'll see what they get. Mountain Dismember. I can what's happening here? They're going to attacks with Dismember. They could just try to dismember the Forge Tender. So I'm going to block one and then path the other. I do have enough mana to do this. I'm significantly behind on time, but it's not the kind of matchup that really ever threatens to go to time. Interesting that they didn't dismember the Burrington Forge Tender right away. I think I'll probably bounce that in response to them trying to dismember, because I can't imagine them not dismembering. Yeah, so we know the Dismember is castable until their next turn, right? So I think we're just going to chill for the time being. Oh, that was a pretty good draw. We still have Dismember mana up. Actually, I could just cast this guy right now if I go get a Forest. They're going to let me gain the life. Seems good. No, I got a Hostage Taker, but this guy's a little too expensive for that. I mean, I could cast a Hostage Taker, gets Dismembered, doesn't really do very much, just gives them another trigger. So here, I guess we attack, right? We've got nice defense up. If you just consider Venser nice for bouncing this guy. Get in with everybody. 2-turn clock. Still 2-turn clock if I don't attack. Huh. Now I leave this back, and then we're planning to. I think I'm planning to Venser the Dismember, right? Yeah, planning to Venser the Dismember. Taking the damages, and maybe they're just not casting the Dismember. I guess we'll have to wait and see. They won't be able to cast it twice, that's for sure. Okie dokie. Venser. Clutch. This is some cool interactive magic right here. Huzzah! That's a screenshot. Let me get the target there. All right, screenshot. Go share it with my brethren. All right, so Dismember in hand. We still have this to prevent any shenanigans, like triple lightning bolt or something. All right, well, we do get to sacrifice this to, and we also get to cast Uro if we want, and they're at 1 life, so cycle that 1 card. Cycle another card. Okay, all right, that's getting them somewhere. But I'm just gonna sack and stop this thing, so it's pretty much lights out. I guess they can play the mountain. Oh, they conceded. All right, sweet. So you're saying, I'm sorry. So I won the match. What were you saying about Hostage Taker for 3 mana? Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's funny actually. They have drawn more cards than me. Drake, what are you screaming about? Hostage Taker for 3 mana. What am I missing? Oh my god! I forgot that I could cast their Reveler because I have a bunch of my own instants and sorceries. That's amazing. I was only looking at the 8. Oh, that's so sick. But I still think I went for the right line. Like bouncing that Dismember was pretty cool. But let's actually do the math. I guess you already did it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and cast it for 3. That's pretty cool. So you can see how good Hostage Taker is. It's just like it's good in like almost every single spot. So, all right, that's the that match. That puts us at 2-2. I guess I'm sort of priced into playing the last round. Let me take a quick break. So if I'm remembering correctly, I think my 2 losses were both to Jund Death Shadow with like absolute nut hands in every single game. It's disappointing because normally they keep hands with like a Tarmogoyf, and then maybe they can eventually get like a Traverse online and get like a Death Shadow. Sometimes they struggle to get their life total low enough, but like these guys have just been like triple Street Wraith, like triple Death Shadow, like I don't know, double Thoughtseize, burn. What is that? The name of that card? Teamer Battle Rage is like totally unbeatable. Even though, as I was mentioning during the actual match, I'm pretty sure it's at least a 60-40 matchup in our favor. Just what we're doing is so good against what they're doing. We get down a bunch of dorks that gum up the board, keep drawing cards. We have plenty of removal, and we can recur it from the graveyard. I mean, they are running main deck Cling to Dust, which can be obnoxious, but it can also kind of do not very much. So maybe we'll get a chance to redeem ourselves and get paired against a Jund Shadow. I think I was also on the draw, like both of those matches against Jund Shadow. All right, on the draw here, and we have to mulligan. Opponent's keeping 7. But this is just like an absolutely beautiful opening hand, even if we have to put one of our cards down. So I'm going to keep, and I'll probably just bottom one of the Ice Fangs. I like the possibility of ramping with Coiling Oracle. But, on the other hand, if we're playing against some kind of aggro deck, Ice Fang could be better. Since we have the Eternal Witness, I guess if Ice Fang is great, I can always just get it back. So I'm going to keep, and I'll bottom one of these Ice Fangs. I could be super sketch and like put a land on the bottom, but no. That would just be wrong. Oh my god! This is ridiculous. Like, 60% of this league has been Jund Death Shadow, unless I'm misremembering one of the matches. So let's see. They kept 7. Let's see how low they can get their life total, and let's just see how many threats they have. Oh my god, what is going on? I'm happy to see the matchup. All right. Well, no Thoughtseize. Pretty sick. They could Fatal Push the birds, but I don't really care about that. I'd prefer to keep more lands in the deck, so I will open with the basic for sure. Next turn, we can go and get a Hallowed Fountain. Pretty sure this is going to get pushed, but I guess we'll see. I'm thinking about something. It's not a very hard decision. I guess they're dismembering. So life total pretty low. Maybe they'll go for Death Shadow. We can just path it immediately. Well, that's a little bit rough. I have learned in this matchup that it's always correct to just immediately remove whatever threat they have. Because if you take a turn off to like play a Coiling Oracle, they're just going to Team or Battle Rage you. All right. All right, well, no threats yet, guys. No threats. This is how it should go, and we drew another path. That's freaking beautiful. All right, come on. This has to be in our favor now. Ramp us. Ramp us. Well, opponent knows about the Ephemerate. That's a pretty sick card, but after killing the birds, we are a little bit light on mana. All right. Creature sticks around for the time being. Let's see if they have like a Goyf or something. If they had a Death Shadow, they would have cast it last turn. They got nothing. This is amazing. Give us a land, please. Well, no land yet, but we do have Ice Fang, which will probably main phase here. Just to try to draw a land. They don't have any threats or anything, so nothing has haste. I feel like running out the Ice Fang is fine here. We would really love to draw a land and play it. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Picture perfect. Sometimes things do go your way, so I don't always complain. I only complain when I lose. All right, opponent satisfied with how low their life total is for the time being. Are they going? Oh, they're clinging to dusting the path. All right, so they're going to draw a card. That's all that does. Okay. Little do they know that we have another Path to Exile in hand. Knight is one of the cards that gets boarded out in this matchup. So it wasn't the best draw, but it's a creature. We don't currently have anything great to do with Eternal Witness, but if they play a creature, we can path it now, potentially draw green mana, and just grab it back with Eternal Witness. Man, this is not going their way this time. Thoughtseize. All right, opponent. I mean, I've got the Eternal Witness to potentially get it back. And if they play like a Death Shadow, I'm just going to Ephemerate on their turn and draw 3 cards before my next main phase. All right. So now we don't Ephemerate. Ephemerate is 3 for 1 if they go for removal. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I'm going to slow roll that land. See what I can get out of them here. Another beautiful spot where I can go get the Canopy Vista. Path to Exile, and opponent has to be on their last legs here. What do you got? Kozilek's Return? Main deck? All right. Up a game against a favorable matchup, going to sideboarding. We'll get at least one more game like on the play, so feeling pretty good about this. Opponent kept 7 there, so potentially not the best. I guess they didn't know what they were playing against. Would love to take this match into, this league into positive territory. You guys know the drill at this point. You could probably tell me like card for card what I bring in against this matchup. And what I take out at this point, which is obviously a little bit more complicated. So, Night of Autumn is the first cut. I trim some number of birds, if not all of them. I could just go down all. Oh, I trim all the forces. I think I'm going to keep 2 birds in and find another card to trim. The one way to lose good matchups is to get mana screwed. Like let them burn a push against like a Birds of Paradise, sort of fine. Means that they're going to have one fewer pushes for things like Eternal Witness and Deputy of Detention, etc. Somebody in the, I think it was Faust in the Discord, mentioned he really likes Venser in the matchup. Like, they go all in on like Battle Rage, and then we bounce their creature. So even though it's kind of expensive, I think I'll try to keep Venser in. You guys can talk me out of it in the next 1 minute. Like, what do you guys think about Venser? It was better when these decks used to run Gurmag Angler, and I'm sort of sad that they don't run Gurmag Angler. Not because now Venser is worse, but just because it was a cool card. It was like a common in Khans of Tarkir that I drafted 8 million times. It's just nice for like common random cards to be played in top tier decks. I could trim a Soulherder since it dies pretty easily. It's Jund. It's Jund. I'm gonna trim a Soulherder, and we'll run it. We'll run it like that. So Drake, if you didn't see game one, we are up a game. Opponent kept a very weird hand, and this is a snap keep, super snap keep, triple removal. Opponent mulliganing to 6. We've got tons of creatures in the deck. Just need to draw land in the first 3 turns. The first, 3 turns, I guess. All right. I mean, whatever. We have to draw stuff, right? So they're down to 4 cards. Let's hope that they're fairly threat light. Okay, I can dig it. I can dig it. We're only dying to their threats. That's a cool card to draw. Let's see. I'm not really like, well, I guess I might as well play this in. I'm just going to crack it on their end step. Like, I'm going to go get Hallowed Fountain, and, you know, we'll draw lands at some point. And if we don't draw it in the next few turns, we should have, like, a bazillion turns to draw lands, since they're either going to take these out of our hand or play creatures. They can't do both, right? All right. So I kind of feel like I can just wait on this. Like, I got nothing to do next turn anyway. So let's preserve my life total a little bit. That's cool. I like that. And I'll just, like, maybe they have a push, whatever, but it's mana. It's pretty nice. It's a creature to combo with Worship. I've got Ephemerate to protect it if I really, really want to. So things going well so far. Opponent hitting their land drop, so I'm not overly concerned about fixing their mana with Path to Exile. They could get a bunch of redraws with Nurturing Peatland. So we're not going to block. Let's see if they ping themselves with Peatland. Okay. Removal spell number 1. Opponent's on 2 cards. We've got removal spells 2 and 3 in hand. Presumably untapping with 3 mana, but they could easily just kill the Bird's Paradise. Okie dokie. Just cruising right along here. Winds of Abandon. I think I'm just going to main phase that. Sort of like, maybe it doesn't matter. No, Winds can hit a Tarmogoyf, so Purge is just going to be better to hold on to. And at this point, like, Ephemerating the Bird seems semi-legit since the opponent is so low on cards. Remember that they can go up 2 more cards right away just with these peat lands, but it doesn't seem like they're working with much here. If they go to push like the Birds of Paradise, I would probably just ephemerate the Birds of Paradise with its own mana. Cycling that peat land. Yeah, all right. I love playing against non-blue Death Shadow because it's like so chill. I can just like remove their creatures at my leisure. But I do need to get some stuff going on here at some point. Do it, opponent. Street Wraith. Go all in on this Death Shadow. They know what I'm holding, so it's sort of whatever. They also know that I'm light on mana, so it would be a pretty good play for them to try to kill my Birds of Paradise. Come on, deck. Let me do something. All right, so good sequencing. Very nice. I have a removal spell for the Tarmogoyf in hand. I could go get a land right now and just take my beats with Tarmogoyf, but as I was saying before, we do not leave their creatures on the battlefield if we can avoid it. Because then they just like go bananas and they hit us with double strike. I could just be sort of shell-shocked from getting wrecked in the past. But Eternal Witness for land seems really strong, because then I can still just hold up Ephemerate. And then I can just slam Worship and the game is just over. Plus, they can't really get Tarmogoyf too big, right? Like, what could they put in the graveyard? Like, Tarmogoyf's only going to be like 7 power creature. Yeah, Drake, you read my mind. I think that's probably the play here. Gets another creature on the battlefield. Advances our land situation. Makes Worship better. And I would need to get, actually, yeah, I would need to get a Temple Guard in here, shocking myself to cast Ephemerate. But we'll see how it goes. I don't even think I would go for like the Ghost block here. I think I'm kind of fine just taking a hit from Tarmogoyf. Like, I really don't want them to crack this and then Fatal Push the Eternal Witness when I could avoid it. They could, of course, do that in response to my cracking of Misty Rainforest, but let's sort of see how this goes. Doesn't look like they're thought seizing me this turn. Usually they start with that if that's what they're going for. Now, I'd love to draw a land here. All right, do your worst, opponent. Give me a land. Oh, I thought it was Assassin's Trophy. Fair enough. They can have removal too. So, we could get Overgrown Tomb. We've got our white sorted. Now we've got the birds. I think Temple Garden is fine. So now I think, okay, now I'm just totally going to cast Winds of Abandon and hold up Icefang Coatl. Dumping Worship is risky because they just kill my birds and then just, I don't know, hit me for a lot. It also, it's going to make wins. But the thing is, they need to have exactly... they need to have... What was I trying to say? They need to have exactly Thoughtseize next turn because Inquisition doesn't get Worship. Icefang not particularly close to having Death Touch. I could cast it now to potentially draw a land. It could be correct, but doesn't really matter. No Thoughtseize, please. Come on, cycle that. Cycle it. All right, sweet. Seems like we're cruising through this one, guys. So now we slam the Worship, I think. Actually, I think I continue to slow roll here. So I'm going to go get back Path to Exile. And that means I can probably just play the... Could get to Fairy for fun, but I mean, Path to Exile pretty much slams the door shut. Scooping? Looks like they're scooping. It's doing that thing where it stalls out. So this is how it's supposed to go against Jund Death Shadow. Like, if not super lopsided in our favor, at least slightly in our favor. But we got, like, utterly steamrolled by, I believe it was Jund Shadow twice in this league. But we got out of it alive. We got back our entry and nice treasure chest to add to the collection. So thanks very much for joining me tonight, guys. If some of you are not following me already on Twitch, I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. I just got over 150 followers, I think, as of like last stream, so really psyched. The next milestone is going to be 200, at which point I think I'd be able to sort of get some kind of modest sponsorship. So that's what I've been sort of aiming for the last few months, trying to build up followers. Again, the deck just feels sick. Like, every single card in the deck does work. There's no fluff. Uro is ridiculously bonkers. Like, he just single-handedly won against Control in round 1. Hostage Taker just does work. I could have actually cast their Bedlam Reveler, which I kind of wish I had done in hindsight. But yeah, it just feels so much fun, like being able to play with Hostage Taker and actually win matches in like modern leagues. It's just like, it's a dream come true. I love that card. It's so much fun. Spore Frog did work. I think I didn't play to its potential against Merfolk, and I think it might have cost me the game. Possible that it didn't really matter. But it was a lesson learned. Like, if you can avoid cracking Spore Frog without a way to loop it, you want to do it until it's clearly going to be lethal damage. Because the opponent, particularly like in a Merfolk matchup, is just going to keep playing creatures, right? So odds are if they're attacking for 3 or 4 this turn, they're going to be attacking for 11 next turn. And Spore Frog is going to be pretty clutch on that turn. So be careful with Spore Frog. It's very powerful when you can loop it. You need to use it precisely when you don't necessarily have access to the graveyard. So yeah, a lot of fun. So I'll be back on Wednesday with a Merfolk stream. Not sure what deck I'm going to play. Maybe just run back the M. Hayashi build with main deck Chalices and main deck Harbingers. It was pretty fun last week. I think I went 4-1 with the list on stream. So tune in on Wednesday if you want to see me play some Merfolk. And until then, I'm going to tune out. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.